I deployed to Bosnia well prepared for the reality of war. I knew what to expect in a conflict zone: bombing, destruction, death. I was a good soldier. I was well trained. As I set foot onto foreign soil the first time, I remember stepping over 4 bodies that had been moved from the hospital to a fence line nearby. Wow, I'm not in Kansas anymore. In the days, weeks, and months that followed, what I thought I would experience and what I did experience moved further and further apart. It was like watching a slow motion traffic accident. What I hadn't been prepared for was a questioning in my heart and soul as a witness to things I knew were wrong. Maybe not against orders or regulations, but morally and ethically wrong nonetheless. I felt helpless as I watched the system check all the right boxes without considering the morally correct decision. Everything was layered, one on top of the other, setting us up to fail. Were there moments of reckoning? Times when those of us who had had enough were broken by the system? Unfortunately, I was witness more times than I want to remember to the darkness that took over those who I felt I was there to protect. And yet, helpless in so many ways because the reality was we were out there all alone. They weren't going to save us. I felt betrayal, anger, shame, guilt. There were nightmares. If there was a symptom of PTSD, I had it. The day I returned from active service, I told my wife, "Get me out of here. I want to go to Disney World." What was I thinking in that I could somehow escape to the happiest place on earth? I couldn't. And so thought maybe I should just go back. If they had put me on an airplane, I would have done so in a heartbeat. I thought I could suppress it all and save my career. But my wife could see after 32 years of marriage that this was a make or break moment for me personally and for our marriage. She grabbed me by the arm and said what I needed to hear: "You're not okay, and you're not going back." Recovery was a trial and error process of regular therapist visits, talk therapy, role play, medications, and finally coming to terms with the fact that this wasn't my fault. I wasn't complicit like I thought, but rather part of a system that didn't let me protect my people the way I felt was necessary. Today, I'm functioning as a husband, father, and grandfather, and I also found help from my wife, who had been collateral damage to this dysfunction. She'd been with me on this journey and still is. That doesn't mean there aren't bad days, that there aren't triggers. I've just learned to deal with them in a healthier way. Whenever I feel overwhelmed by the past, I remind myself it wasn't my fault. And if it happened today, I would do it differently.